What's up, Facebook? Happy afternoon. It's a hot one. Whew. It's been hot here the last couple days, but it is Florida, it is summer, so I guess it's to be expected. So, just imagine how your body will look and feel 6 months from now. Just imagine how your body will look and feel 6 months from now. What's up, Deb? What's up, Vinny? Just imagine how your body will look and feel 6 months from now. I'm very familiar with that phrase, that question, hypothetical. Just imagine what your body will look and feel like 6 months from now. I say it at least, several times a week. And I talk to people. I find out where people are at, where they're struggling, typically struggling with their weight, struggling with their nutrition, struggling with knowing how to exercise, struggling with, liking the idea of getting in shape, wanting to get in better shape, having no idea how to get there. And that's typically why they get on a call with me. And I say this often, and it made me just want to come on here and share this live, is just imagine what your body will look and feel like 6 months from now. And after we get done establishing where they're at, where they're struggling, where their obstacles are, what they've done over the past, maybe they've tried a diet, maybe they've tried every diet, maybe they've tried to exercise, maybe they've tried every workout under the sun. And once we've gotten that established, then the next question is, sorry, there's a bug flying, it looked like a wasp, is, okay, so just imagine what your body will look and feel like 6 months from now. Just imagine. And here's the thing. If you do this one thing, and I'm saying this to you, waving but can't see a thing. I see you, John. Hey, what's going on? I see it. I think I see something. So here's the one thing. It's very simple. It's actually a play on the title of this live. Just imagine. Because here's the problem. I asked that question. Can you imagine what your body will look and feel like 6 months from now if you apply this one thing? And what's the one thing? You're probably like, oh, what is it? What's the magic? What's the secret? Mark, what's the secret? Come on, you get people in shape, you get them results, you help them with weight loss. What's the secret? The secret is getting them to imagine. The secret is getting them to imagine. My secret to you, 6 months from now, getting the body the way you want it to look and feel 6 months from now. Heck, 6 weeks from now, you can get started. And the key is you have to imagine it. Because here's the thing, anything, I don't know about you, but I know pretty much 100% of the things that have happened to my life that I wanted to see happen, I had to think of them first. And of course, it's easy to think that you're overweight. It's easy to think that you're out of shape. Ooh, that was like my ring. That you're overweight and you're out of shape, and then you've let yourself go. It's easy to think of those things because you're experiencing them, because you're actually going through them. Your body feels like crap. You can't look at yourself in the mirror. You don't even want to think about going to the gym, social distancing or not. You're not even thinking about that. You're thinking about where you're at. You're just like, this is what I have. And sometimes it's really hard to deal with. And sometimes it's just easier to avoid. But could you just imagine for a moment, just imagine if you started to believe that you could actually get in better shape, that you could actually lose the weight, that you could actually, at 45, 55, 65, turn a corner. The first step to turning the corner to getting your health and your life and your body back in shape, feeling and looking the way you want to, and you get jealous of the people that are doing it. And you look at, well, how are they able to do that? Everybody, you have all the same tools. You have all the same access, or you have potential to have access. Y'all have the same potential to have access to an expert coach like myself to help get you there. Y'all have access to it, whether you realize it or not, right? People talk about it all the time. Oh, no, I can't afford a coach. That's expensive to have a coach. It's like a trainer. It's expensive. Just imagine for a moment. Just imagine if you could get your body looking and feeling in 6 months from now. Just imagine if you can get it to the way you want it to look and feel 6 months from now. What's that worth to you? And I think the hard thing is putting a value on it and knowing how much it's worth to you, because you almost can't even imagine it to begin with. So I love doing this. It's one of the questions that comes up. So if you get on a call with me, I'm going to say to you, just imagine, what would it look like in the next 6 months or 12 months, depending on where you're at, if I could help get you past the struggles, past the areas that you're stuck with your diet and with your workouts and with your motivation. People just say this to me all the time. I know what I need to do. I think I even talked about this. I know I need to work out. I need to know what I need to get healthier. I'm just not motivated. It's not motivation. If it was as easy as motivation, I'd have to find some other kind of job, maybe a desk job. Oh, thank goodness I don't. Thank goodness it's not just on motivation. It requires first getting started right here and imagining. Again, and I don't do any mind tricks or anything like that, but I help people imagine. And how do I help people imagine? Because I share with them the people that have already gotten to that point. 6 months came and went, and guess what? They're not anywhere like they used to be, but it started out believing that you could succeed. Here's the biggest challenge, I think, people when it comes to losing weight and getting in shape, is that they fail to imagine what it would be like if, and they're like, oh, no, I remember what I used to be like. No, I'm not talking about that, because that's different. Because here's the deal. You can think back of when you're in your best shape. If you're, say, 47 or like me, or 57, oh, when I was in my 20s, Mark, I was in the best shape of my life. Well, okay. Well, you can't really think back in your 20s because you're not in your 20s anymore. You're in your 40s and 50s. It's different. Your body's different. Your season of life is different. Your needs are different. You need a different approach. That's key. But it's hard to imagine now, so at 47, and if you're out of shape and unhealthy and on a wrong path, it's hard to imagine what it could be like, because you've probably never been there. If you're right now struggling, if you have that extra weight, and why I bring this to your attention, it's because I want to share with you before even, maybe reaching out or connecting with me, is could you just imagine what it would be like? Okay, once you've gotten that established, once you've gotten the just imagine part, if you can just imagine what your body would look and feel like if you had what you needed in 6 months, from 6 months to now, from now to 6 months, if you could just imagine being in that kind of shape, like if you put that mind thought in front of you, then think about this. Do you think it'd be a little bit easier? I know I imagined having an amazing wife. When I was in my 20s, I just imagined what it would be like to have a phenomenal wife, and just to like that loved me and cared for me, and that we had a great relationship. 18 years later, guess what? I have an amazing wife. I imagined it, definitely. I imagined also loving the beach and wanting to be near the beach and living close to the beach, as close as I could. I didn't know what that really looked like, but I know my heart and my heart is a part of the beach, just always. Even grew up near the beach, and just like that was something I had to imagine first. Now, I always loved my first car. My first car was a Jeep. I'm going to share this with you. My first car was a Jeep. Not as nice as that one. And that's a little older. It's still a really nice Jeep. But my first car was a Jeep, and I was like, just imagine one day I would get another Jeep, and maybe it would be a new one where I didn't need to carry a tow rope. But I had to imagine it first. And that's really what I wanted to share with you here, is maybe you're just not imagining enough. Or maybe you're only imagining. You're like, oh yeah, gosh, would it be so awesome? But you can't get results just imagining, right? You still have to have that thought, like, oh, what it would be like in 6 months or 12 months. Or how about this? Could you imagine what it would be like to live in the best shape of your life for the rest of your life? Does that not sound exciting? If that sounds exciting, but you have no idea what that looks like, you need to send me a message. Let's get on a call. Let's talk about it. What I'm going to ask you is this, simple, very, very simple. I'm going to have you fill out a couple questions so I can get to know you better. And then we're going to talk about, okay, where are you at? Where are you at right now? What are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to lose 40 or 50 or 60 pounds? Okay, so what has been working? What's been working for you? We're going to talk about that. Then what hasn't been working? What's been really struggling? Why haven't you been able to lose the weight? And then based on that, then I would say, hey, my next thing is, could you imagine what it would be like in 6 months or 12 months or whatever time, we talk about based on your goals? Could you imagine in 6 months what it would be like if you had this one thing in place? And I get them to think like how it could be. You almost need to close your eyes and think about that. So I say that even though we're talking about health, could you imagine 6 months from now, at the end of the year, that everything going on in this world gets better? Can you imagine? That would be awesome. I know we're all thinking the other direction, but let's just talk about back to your health. Could you imagine? Now, you're either imagining one of two things. You're either imagining the possibilities of what could happen, you getting in better shape and doing that. But also, if you're not thinking about that, what happens? Could you imagine if you continue down the same path you're on? Could you imagine what it's going to cost you if you don't take care of yourself now? Can you imagine the repercussions of the decisions that you're not making right now? That's the other thing about imagining. Because one way or the other, something's going to come up in your mind. And I hope it's more on a positive note than not. So my encouragement to you is, 6 months from now, where do you want to see your body? How do you want it to look? How do you want it to feel? I've been thinking about that for myself in my own personal journey, to be honest with you. And while I feel like right now, 47, I'm in the best shape of my life, I also feel that I can imagine even something better. I can imagine myself getting in better shape. I can imagine something even greater. And again, not because what's next? Just like, I think we all limit ourselves in the possibilities. And I think it's easy to limit yourself in your health, especially if you haven't been taking care of yourself. It's just simple as that. If you haven't been taking care of yourself, it's easy to say, oh, I can't lose this weight. I tried everything. I can't get this weight off. I can't get my body back in shape. I can't. Well, that's what you're thinking right now. You're not imagining, just imagine for a moment. What if you could? What would that look like for your life? How would that change things? How would that make you look and feel standing in front of the mirror, maybe standing in front of your spouse naked? Let's just be honest, right? Like, those are the things. And I can tell you, if you can imagine the possibilities in a positive light, that's like the first step of actually achieving it. Just like I was telling just a couple things before, there's things that I want looking forward in my life. Well, I have to imagine those things first. So if you're stuck and you're struggling, you feel like you just don't know where to go. It maybe start off by just imagining, man, how good would it be? How valuable would it be if I actually got my act together and I started eating right, and I started exercising, or I got the help that I need from a coach who knows what he's doing. He's been doing it for the past for the past 25 years. I always tell people, it's an investment. Yes, you have to invest in me, because guess what? I've been investing in myself for the past 25 years, a significant investment. I didn't just become a good coach overnight. I didn't just become a good coach and just winged it for the past 25 years. I made some significant, in fact, right now I'm making the biggest investments right now in my professional career that I've ever made in my entire life, because I know I can imagine myself, what does it look like in my business for the next 6 months or the next 12 months? And again, I have to imagine it first, and then I got to get help getting there. And just like people have me as their coach, I have a coach, and that's how it works. So I don't know, I hope this didn't get too deep for you, but if you did find this valuable, I just want to come on here. Maybe today is the day that you just for a moment sit and imagine what your body would look and feel like 6 months from now if you actually just imagine the possibilities of being exactly where you want to be. That's all I got. I hope your day is awesome. It's hot here. I don't know what it's like your way. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Talk soon. Take care.